Alright, here's a technique I just discovered, which is basically when you are editing something you wrote, you want to read it out in a really funny voice or in whatever way seems interesting to you in the moment. And using this technique, I went from, I kind of don't want to do this editing, to this is actually pretty fun, I don't want to stop. Okay, and I feel like it's probably best to demonstrate it. Also, keep in mind this makes me seem like a completely insane person when I do this, but I think it's really good and was pretty fun so far. Okay, so let's do this. I will go through this thing as a demonstration of how I would read this out, and hopefully forget that I record myself such that I can actually not be holding myself back. Okay, now, is there work on embedded agency in Cellular Automata toy models? Is there any work that is about modeling embedded agency in Cellular Automata? That seems like the obvious thing to do. I'm asking in general and specifically in the context of solving embedded agency using these assumptions. All of these assumptions seem straightforward to get in a Cellular Automata. For example, one assumption is the model agents are both highly compatible. This means we can have a representation of the entire environment, including the agent. Also, I will add this camera because I'm doing some movements, which are also kind of fun to do. Yeah, that's just I want to also say that is part of doing this. Okay, while an agent both highly compressible, this means we can have a representation of the entire environment, including the agent inside the agent. Wait. For some environments, we only concern ourselves with environments where this is the case. You can get such a compressible environment easily by having it be mostly empty. Using it mostly empty, then you can use a smart representation of the environment. You can get such a compressible environment easily by having it mostly empty. Then you can use a sparse representation of the environment, which then will be a lot smaller than the environment. Ideally, we want to end up with some system that works in the cellular automata in a way that is computationally tractable. But here I am mainly thinking about making conceptual progress by theoretical analysis. I expect the concreteness of imagining a specific cellular automata to be helpful. The goal would be to get specification for a system that we can show would solve the problem discussed at the beginning of the post. Oh, yes. So, discussed in this post. The goal would be to get specification for a system that we can show would solve the problem discussed in this post. You could also make it easy for the agent to manipulate the environment by having the physics of the environment be such that the specific configuration of cells corresponds to calling an external function with some arguments. External functions can then do things like set single cell stage fill in the region, including the previous. Includes previous function. Fill in a region includes the previous function. Includes the previous function. Fill in the code according to some provided function. Includes previous functions. A naive way to do this would probably still be intractable in practice, but it might make things easier to reason about conceptually. as the steps in the plan don't need to contain complicated procedures for setting cell states, construct a function call. In the game of life, you would only need to construct a function call instead of constructing a spaceship that flies somewhere and then executes and then transforms the environment. You would only need to construct a function call instead of constructing a spaceship that flies somewhere and then terraforms the environment. Right. Okay. That's the demonstration.